I grew up with the Billy family, my friend Tanner Billy, of course, and they're a bit more involved in terms of their culture. And I always knew I was Métis, and it was always kind of awkward going into some special classes for Indigenous kids who needed, say, help with math. And it would be all my buddies, and there was me. I was like, oh, this is an Indigenous class. And I was like, well, I look like, right? And so I always knew the word, but I didn't know the culture, right? So later on, once I was in high school, even when I was in middle school, like the age these young folks are, there was this process of literally checking off the box, but not really knowing what it meant. And it wasn't until I sort of met my mentor and friend, Alex Clark, who's now passed on, that I began to understand the process of reconnecting. He worked with 3 generations, probably more than 3 generations of young Indigenous kids and Métis kids and Inuit kids, and connecting them with different art forms from their culture, but also the nations of the coast here. So teaching them the form line practice, sharing stories, sharing songs, all these different things.
To see something that the community can embrace and share and get that feeling of belonging, especially in the schools and you know, even secondary education, and that it's like a dream come true to us to see this is happening. And even if it's, you know, it's not maybe starting really huge, but to see it hopefully progress, to me just means so much.
When I think about the opportunity that this project represents in terms of Métis identity, I think it's very exciting and it's very hopeful. Like, we just spent this beautiful time with students here at the school, and one of the teachers came up to me afterwards and said she was so delighted to see how one of the Métis students, who's usually quite withdrawn, felt so bolstered by our talk today. She felt good, she felt confident, she felt proud about her identity. And I think the mural project and having the students involved, I think for Métis students, it's incredible, it's inspiring, it's a beautiful physical representation of who we are, and it's an invitation, you know, to be proud of who we are and to, you know, be able to kind of blossom in that identity. And I also think from a reconciliation perspective, I think that it's really amazing for all the students at the school and the staff to have that recognition and that honoring of who we are. I think it's a beautiful project.
It's incredibly important for Métis knowledge keepers to come in ourselves and to have those interactions and to be able to answer questions, because it's an active thing then, it's not passive. And it's important for Métis people to tell our own stories and to have those conversations when children are young and they're still forming their ideas of the world and how it works. So it's absolutely key.
I'm really passionate about Métis community and connection to culture. And so I love being involved in projects like this. So of course I was excited to partner with Jessie and just kind of help with emails and budget tracking and, you know, all the things that are a little bit less glamorous when it comes to projects like this. Yeah, so kind of nerding it up behind the computer so Jessie can do the fun and beautiful things.
It's a great accomplishment, a lot of pride for us seeing these symbols. One school we went to before was Spencer Middle School, and the whole school got grade sixes. They all made little statues about 8 inches long. We helped them along. Barb Hume helped them, other people helped them, and we curated maybe 600 of them. And we made it in Barb Hume and some other people. Yeah. Put it all together and made one big long statue about 20 feet long, but this wide, and it's hanging up on sort of the high part of the doorways as you come into the school. Still there.
Where are people who are sort of invisible, and we look like everyone. And so seeing that representation, I didn't see it not in my schools growing up, but also in the schools I visited through various projects. So I wanted a way to sort of connect with that very influential program that I was a part of, connect that to something that was very Métis specific, and sort of fill that puzzle piece that was missing when I was growing up. And of course, with my mural work, I've been lucky enough to work with many artists, many different nations, but also sort of examine what public art and murals can do in terms of representation, but also public interaction. As Bertha and Joe sort of mentioned, when you go into a space and you see yourself represented, You feel seen, you feel recognized.
Well, I was really delighted and really honored to be able to be invited to participate, to be able to come and spend time with the students here at the school. I think for me, it's definitely been a lifelong hope and commitment to be able to learn from elders, learn from other knowledge keepers, be able to read, listen, observe, take in, and to be invited to share the little bit, of culture that I've had the privilege of learning and living and observing and being a part of, creating. It's a really wonderful experience, and I think I'll always be a lifelong learner, and whenever I get the opportunities to share some of the knowledge that I have or my lived experience, it's a privilege to be able to do so.
What I really like about this mural project and how Jesse has come at this in a really good way by approaching the local nations and by representing in this mural who we are as a people going forward, as a living culture. A lot of our floral beadwork represented the prairie flowers because that's a lot of our history. But in this mural, it's reflecting the relationship with these lands, because Métis people have always reflected the lands that they're living on as a living culture. So involving the camas and involving the local plants and what's around us, I think is really important as we look at who we are now and who we are going forward. So I'm really excited about it.